and welcome to KUWTL Podcast. Hi, since this is our first podcast, I thought we would share a little bit about us.
Alright, my name's Tom and I'm a Villa fan, so that's pretty unlucky.
Yeah, I'm Chloe, I'm a Notts County fan, so yeah, it's not great either.
I'm Orla, I'm a Preston North End fan, not too good either. So, in this podcast, we're going to talk about the England 11.
Obviously, it won't be for the Euros. It'll be Euro 2021 with no Euros this year. So, I think on what I did, I was sort of basing it on who I'd pick if the tournament was this year. But then, obviously, I don't like half the players, so I've just basically gone with the team I'd go for if I was the manager at the end of the day.
And obviously, we can't really take injury into account anymore, so we'll just assume everyone's fit.
Yeah, everyone's fit and they're on form. That's what I've thought.
Yeah. Should we start with goalkeepers then?
Yeah, go for it.
Right, Jordan Pickford, what are you thinking?
Okay, we'll pick him, but I don't want him to.
Nah.
I think he's too much of a hothead.
Yeah, I totally agree.
All the England goalkeepers, so that includes like Henderson, Pickford, Pope, and Heaton. They've all got liability.
Even Butland as well, if you're going to include him in it.
Yeah, I think he's unfortunately knocked himself out of it by playing for Stoke.
Yeah,
but yeah, I wouldn't go for Pickford.
No, I wouldn't. I think Heaton was doing really well before he's got his injury, but I think by the time that Euros is on, he would be insane by then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends, obviously.
I just think Pickford's, even in the league for Everton, he's not been great this season, and I think you've got to go off form. You can't really look at his past England performances when he hasn't played since, he played in the qualifiers, but other than that, you've got to go off league performances, and he hasn't been doing well for Everton, in my opinion. He's conceded a lot of goals this season. It's something like 39 goals. It's ridiculous.
He has, and he shouts at people. He blames other people.
Yeah,
and you can't be doing that. You need to be a team.
Yeah, in my opinion, it's between Pope and Henderson, and obviously, I think Pope's above Henderson in clean sheets this season. But Sheffield United are doing amazingly well, so you can only blame the keeper for that, can't you? He's the one that's not conceding goals.
My goal would be Henderson, but obviously that's my personal opinion, but I'd have Henderson in there.
So
you take 3 goalkeepers to the Euros anyway, so I think I would be taking Pickford, I think, just because of his experience, but then I'd also take Henderson and Pope, but have Henderson in as your number one.
Pickford has had his chance. He's had it.
Yeah, I agree.
He did well in the World Cup, but at the same time, there was things that he could have done better.
But we didn't play anyone decent until we got knocked out.
Yeah, exactly.
So he didn't really have to. He wasn't really up against anything.
No. So I think for me it's Henderson. I think we were all agreeing on that one.
Yeah. And I think obviously with De Gea dropping in form a bit, he might be in for a shout at Man U soon. Next couple of seasons.
Yeah, you never know.
He's pushing the youngsters through anyway.
Yeah.
Next season, I don't think Sheffield United will do as well as they did. I think everyone's sussed them out, and I think that'll be the same with Wolves as well. But obviously we're talking about England.
Obviously,
cheeky jumps in.
Obviously Henderson's only 23, but he's only 3 years behind Pickford.
Exactly.
So youngsters need to start getting pushed through, because in a couple of years it'll be the World Cup as well, though it's going to come thick and fast. The youngsters need to start stepping up now.
I've picked a fairly young team.
Yeah, because in a year you want the experienced ones, but you also have experienced defenders, and you have the experienced from their clubs. They might not have the experience for England, but that's because the tournaments aren't as often.
Yeah. My oldest player is 27, so that says a lot about the young team.
Yeah, but obviously with the goalkeepers, you've got to take 3 anyway. Which one's your first because of injury or whatever. and Pickford's the only one with a decent amount of caps, so you've got to be taking him just for the experience. But Henderson, I just don't think you can doubt his form at the minute.
No, you definitely can't.
Got to put him in there.
He's doing everything right, and he's trying. He's not unreliable like the rest of them.
Yeah, I agree.
Obviously, Tom Heaton could be given a shout, but I think he's a bit too old for this young Lions thing.
And I think if he was going to have his chance, he would have had it by now.
Yeah.
I think he's getting a little bit past it at the moment.
Yeah.
There's opinions coming into it.
No, I don't think he's the best England goalkeeper. Right.
Yeah, I thought you would.
So, moving on to the centre-backs, considering they're just in front of the goalkeepers, what are you thinking about Harry Maguire?
No, not for me.
I'm not a fan.
He's obviously going. He's meant to be the captain. He's played in the Europa League. He's doing all right. He's just not a new style defender. He's an old school.
I just don't think he has
played
it.
well at the last World Cup, but I think we're going to have the argument of we never played anyone decent until we got knocked out. But you've still got to perform well, and I think he did at the last World Cup. But for me, everyone's raving about him at Man U and saying how much he's changed them, but that's because he's replaced Phil Jones and Chris Smalling. There's just no comparison.
At the same time, I don't think he had the best World Cup. He is an average player, but he scored. Yeah. He scored, and that is what got everyone onto him. If it wasn't for that, he wouldn't be in it.
Yeah, that's the same with John Stones. He's not good enough to play for England. He's average. I wouldn't be taking John Stones either.
No.
I know if we had the other member of the group.
I think
he'd be swinging for me, but
the thing with Maguire, he's a very standard. I think Gareth Southgate's definitely going to take him. There's no question about it. But this podcast is really about our opinion, and I think he'd probably be a squad member for me just because of which other defenders we've got. So I think I'd bring him as a squad player.
I think he has the experience. He has the experience to be in the defence, which is what you need if you bring in new players through the England team.
Yeah.
Right, what are you thinking about Joe Gomez?
100%. My first defender on my team sheet.
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah, I think he's him. Even though he's been a bit sort of clouded with obviously Virgil van Dijk taking the headlines. Yeah, I think he is also class. So he'd be going and he'd be playing. He can play football, and that's what you need from a centre half now.
It is.
Yeah, he's been unlucky with injury, but obviously we're assuming everyone's going to be fully fit at the time.
Yeah.
But obviously he's been in the best squad this season. There's no doubt about that. And he has got, at 22 years old, he's already got 8 England caps, which I think says a lot about him.
I think it's very good because he knows how to play. He's not just a standard footballer. He brings something to the team, which is what you need.
Yeah, I think as well, if he's in front of, for argument's sake, Henderson's in goal, I think it gives him some confidence about what he's got in front of him.
It has. And I think he'd link up well with the players either side of him and just in front of him. He would bring something to the team. He's not a panicker. He keeps it calm and he keeps it cool. He just plays it.
And he don't get booked a lot either. He's not a nasty player. He's quite clean in the way that he plays. And then, which brings us on to Tyrone Mings.
Yeah, Tyrone. I'd say personally, I don't know why I'd say it, but I think he's the best centre half England have.
Here we go.
He's Villa fan coming out.
He's like Gomez. He can play football. He's a good solid player. He's 6'5", tall. He'll win the headers, all that. I think he's a solid player. He's 27 years old though, so he's the older he's getting on a bit in football terms. He's hit his peak. He'd be 28, 29 by the time we play in the Euros. So this would be his only chance to play tournament football.
But you do need those experienced players. You need those experiences to help the younger ones, because going to a major tournament like the World Cup, the Euros, is a big deal. to the young ones, and it's a big deal to everyone, but especially to the young ones, you need those older players to keep them sane, basically.
I do get where everyone's coming from with Mings, because he is your typical centre-half. He's there to kick it, he's there to win it, he's there to win your tackles, he's there to clear it from the goal and whatever, but...
He can also play.
Yeah, but he is 27, and he's only had 2 England caps, which going into a big Euros for us, that we have been tipped as one of the favourites to go far in it. I definitely take him as a squad player. That's not a question. But and he's dirty as well. You can't forget it. He is. And can you trust him? Can you trust him?
You don't want to be getting players sent off in the Euros and the World Cup. He needs to sort his head out. He needs to do good tackles rather than dirty ones. And if he can do that, then 100% a player. But can he actually do that? If someone annoys him, then that's it.
But we say if someone annoys him, the first one that everyone talks to is Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Zlatan elbowed him in the face, didn't he, or something like that started it off. He brushed over his head. It wasn't malicious, everyone could see that. And then it just started this little brawl thing. And then the second one was when he played for Villa against Reading, and he was running back. What did he do? I think he was running back and clipped him in the face or something. Accidents happen, and now he's been like...
Was it an accident, though?
I think these little niggly things that he does all game, and you're like, it winds me up. Even
there's
obviously
no
I'm
point
not a
in
Villa
it.
fan. You look at it from a different perspective, but obviously for your club, of course, you want players like that.
Yeah.
But I think, like I said, he'd definitely be a squad player. But I think he's getting on a bit, and then hasn't had the experience. He hasn't had that long in the Prem, really. Yeah. He spent a lot of time in the Championship, and he hasn't really played that many games for England, so...
Yeah. What would you say about Conor Cody? Not played for England, centre-half at Wolves. I think he's a solid option, to be honest.
I do. I think it depends how much training you're getting in.
Yeah.
If they're getting a lot of training behind him and they're playing together, it could click.
I'm just not too sure.
Cody's used to 3 at the back.
Yeah.
And obviously England...
I think it definitely would be a gamble. Definitely would be a gamble.
But like we've said, we need to start getting these youngsters through, so maybe he should be a squad player over some of the older ones.
Yeah.
Rather than take a couple of the older ones, at least give them a run round against your worst side. You know what I mean? But because these players are going to have to step up within the next 5 years, because they're the next wave coming through, so they need to get experience before it's their kind of peak.
I think obviously John Stones will be going. He'll take Maguire. He will take his favourites.
He'll take his ones that he likes. He'll take the ones from last time. He will take the ones that he was going to take this year.
Yeah.
And
then you've got Keane as well.
Yeah, he doesn't get a sniff in my books.
Getting on a bit.
Scored against Montenegro. That's the only thing I can remember about his England career. I think, what was it his fault for Kosovo? Him or Stones, I believe. I can't remember.
Right, left and right backs.
Should we start with left back?
Yeah, Ben Chilwell, 100%.
Yeah.
100% Ben Chilwell.
In the world,
we haven't got a lot of choice for left backs.
Yeah, and he goes up, he goes down. His work rate is amazing. He's been in the England team. He knows what it's about. He knows what Gareth Southgate expects of him. I think he's not the most amazing player, but
he's
between
solid.
him, Danny Rose, and whoever, I think definitely Ben Chilwell.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't even think Danny Rose, especially. I think he's found his level at Newcastle now. I don't think he's
100% past
it. He should be
100%.
playing for England anymore.
No, not a chance.
He's had his chance. He's had 29 England caps, and he's never really done anything.
No.
But then and he's 29, so
yeah, I think he's past it for England.
I think Ben Chilwell gives the team something different. He can travel with the ball. He can give a good cross. He can give a good cross the pitch pass. He has these different skills which is needed from a left back.
The thing is, though, I'd definitely be taking Luke Shaw.
I'm not a fan. Not a fan of him.
100%. I would. I just think
Southampton. I thought.
I just think he has it.
I think he just clicks. I think he would really click.
Yeah. Well, that's what
he hasn't.
Friendlies for, to see who's the best.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, we're not ones to comment because we can't see training.
No.
We don't see what's going on and who plays well. I just think Luke Shaw's just got something about him. He's quite solid. He's, again, quite young, 24, but not too young that he's got no experience. He's playing in a... Man U, obviously, this season haven't been what everyone expected. But I think everyone can agree that in the next few years they're going to come good again, and it's because of players like him that's got brought in, Wan-Bissaka, James, and all these. I think he's going to come good. So it's whether, again, you've got another season to see him before this World Cup, before this Euro, sorry. Just see how he goes, but it could be a shout.
He sort of like spoiled himself he spoiled himself under Mourinho.
Yeah.
I thought he didn't play to his best. He got a little bit, as they all call him, chubby and all that. And I don't know, maybe he'll come good, maybe.
Yeah.
But for me, it would be Ben Chilwell right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree, but I just think he is in with the shout.
Yeah.
And I think, like I say again, squad player maybe. It's always good to have cover.
Right backs.
Yeah.
Right backs. Do you thinking?
Wan-Bissaka.
Well, Wan-Bissaka. Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker won't be playing for England due to his off-field activity.
Oh, yeah. He's
out of it.
Like, no.
He's out of it.
No.
Not a chance.
Yeah.
Not a chance to see you going back.
But I think, other than midfield, I think this is the hardest decision to make on a position.
Yeah.
I think with Alexander-Arnold, Trippier and Wan-Bissaka, you've got three very, very good players, but very different players. And it all depends what style Southgate's wanting to play, because, in my opinion, I'd be picking Trent, obviously, in quality this season. But he can't defend him, really. Well, he obviously can't
I think he's very overrated.
Compared to the other two, he's not defensive.
Yeah, I'd say Wan-Bissaka, I think he's class at the back. I think a defender defends, you know what I mean? I think we've got the attacking options later on in the other podcasts or whatever. We've got attacking options that will get the ball in the box. Obviously, Trent is an incredibly good player.
I think he's very overrated, though.
In the world. But he's good at going forward. He's sort of like Marcelo. A lot of criticism with Marcelo is he was good at going forward, but he wasn't great at defending. Obviously,
that works for Liverpool. That works in Liverpool because they use their wing backs. Whereas England, I think Trent looks a lot worse than he actually is when he plays for England, because Gareth Southgate doesn't want him getting forward because we've got the wingers.
Yeah.
Whereas for Liverpool, they use their full-backs to get the crosses in, but Trent just looks terrible for England.
He just looks so out of place. He looks out of place.
He's going to go.
Yeah.
But I think I'd be putting Wan-Bissaka there.
Yeah.
I just love Trippier.
Trippier's doing well in La Liga.
I just love Trippier because of that free kick. I think he should go just because of that.
His life peak to that point. But, like a couple of years ago, you'd say move to La Liga or any foreign league, out of sight, out of mind. You won't really be getting in the England squad. Obviously, Beck would do it because obviously he's the superstar. But obviously, him, Sancho are playing abroad, and they're both doing well. But
I think it's just harder because I'm not trying to say people Southgate will pay less attention to him because he's abroad, but it's harder to
you can't watch him,
whereas the defenders play against each other, so you can kind of see how good they are. So for me, I'd be putting Wan-Bissaka up there because you're seeing him week in, week out, and you know the players that he's against he's doing well.
Because you need to see him against those type of players, because you are going to be playing the likes of Aguero in the World Cup. You need to see him against those type of players.
Yeah.
Kieran Trippier,
Honestly,
you were not seeing him against those type of players by playing
England has
La Liga.
a big 6, say,
Yeah.
or however many we've gone on to now. I know a couple have dropped, but we've got big teams that are very good. Where in La Liga, it's Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid. The rest of them are subpar, like, you know.
Yeah,
what I mean?
bang
Yeah.
average.
Yeah. So that's where I think a little bit of home bias comes into it, where you'd say they're playing better against better players.
I totally agree.
Yeah,
and that's
I
why
agree.
we're having Wan-Bissaka in there. And plus, he's, like we said, we've going back to ages, he's a lot younger. He's got about 7 years on him, on Trippier. And I think, obviously, you need to get these players playing together. And obviously, if you've got another couple of Manchester United players in there, they've played together. You've got Henderson in goal, he's played with him, he knows what he's playing. If you've got Luke Shaw on the other side, he's played with him. People like Rashford, you know what I mean?
You know their strengths and you know their weaknesses. You know what you need to do to be able to get them to the ball, or what not to do so that you lose it.
Totally agree.
Familiarity.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say anyway.
Okay, so moving on to the midfielders.
Do you want to start defensive?
Yeah.
Because if we're going defensive, the only player that stands out for me is Henderson.
Yeah, he is so underrated.
I agree.
I think
Tom's going to say he's overrated.
He's a solid player. He might have his hothead times, but who doesn't? I think you need a player like him in the team, because sometimes for a defensive midfielder you just need a strong tackler who can pass the ball well, who can do their job. That's all you need for a defensive midfielder.
He is so solid in the centre of that pocket. We haven't really got anyone else that's a decent defensive player. You know he'll put a tackle in. You know he'll put his body on the line because he does it for Liverpool week in, week out.
Yeah.
And if you actually watch his passing of the ball, it's incredible.
If
you're not going to be using your fullbacks as much as, like, if we're given in comparison with Liverpool, they use their fullbacks to put crosses in. So they don't need as much of the passing, even though Henderson does give it to them.
Yeah.
But with England, they're not using them fullbacks as attacking, so you need someone in the centre that's passing them balls to the wingers and spreading it about midfield.
You do.
I think he's a good player, but I also think he's just boring to watch, and obviously I'd like some entertainment.
I know, but you need a player like him in the team, though. You need that solid, you need that real reliability.
Every single game than 5-4.
The definition of, like, play the way you face it, and, like, it's just, I don't know.
I think you can't have a team full of Messis. You need solid players. You need those players who don't have a lot of skill, but what they do is incredible. And he is one of those players.
I think
he's a 7 or 8 out of 10 every single week. And for England, he's got the experience. He plays with the same lads. You've got a fair few Liverpool players in there. I just think it works. And defensively, really, there's not a lot to choose from.
No, there isn't.
He was billed as, like, the next Gerrard, and he never really, like, hit them heights. But I personally, because I've gone for this young team, I went with Declan Rice.
I don't think he's good enough.
I think he should be in the team. I think he should be in the team. I just don't think he should be a starting player. I think he can come on if he's needed. He can come on if Henderson's injured or whatever. I just don't think he is the starting player. Not yet, anyway.
Especially in that group stage.
Yeah.
In that group stage, fair enough. But when you need some kind of solidarity in that midfield, I think you've got to have him in there. He's been in the best squad in the Prem this season. He's playing with similar players that are around him in England. I wouldn't say he's old. I wouldn't say he's past his peak yet. I'd probably say he's at his peak.
Yeah.
I just think you can rely on him, and he'll put everything in for you.
And also another player that I think deserves a hat in the ring is Winks.
I love Harry Winks.
He's 100%. Not the tackler that we've got. He just passes the ball well. He's a nice little playmaker.
You need a player like him.
I think the only thing with him is lightweight at the minute.
Yeah.
A bit too lightweight.
He just needs to put a little bit of muscle on.
Because you know what foreign players are like.
Yeah.
They'll just push him over.
They would.
And refs don't seem to care.
No.
But
he is a good player to have.
Yeah.
My one would be Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Before he got injured, he was an amazing player for Chelsea. He started playing for England and then got injured, but he was coming at it. He's only like 23, 24. He's not young, he's not old, he's getting that experience, and I think he would be good in the team. He has his height, he can hold the ball up, he has the muscle, he has all these different skills that I think we're not even seeing yet.
Yeah.
If we were taking Chelsea players, we'd take Ross Barkley first, I think.
Absolutely not.
Not
I
a
totally
chance.
disagree.
Not a chance.
I think he's dreadful.
No, I don't know.
Not a fan.
I think when he plays for England, he just, I don't know, gives us something else.
No, not a fan.
I would take him, but I'd take him over Ruben.
He's very inconsistent. Even for England. I just don't think he's solid enough. And then I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek, again, is a gamble. He's been in and out of the England squad, and every time he comes in, he never plays a full game, so you only get to see bits of him. And I don't think he's done enough for me to win me over yet. I don't think he's done anything wrong, but he hasn't quite won me over as a solid starting 11. He needs
to build that up. He needs to get to where he needs to be able to...
Well, do you want to cross a few off the list before we go on to the better players? I definitely wouldn't be taking Barkley.
No.
Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't be taking Eric Dyer. I think he's shambolic.
No, would not be taking Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Oh, no, see, I think
wouldn't.
Not in my starting 11. I also wouldn't be taking Dele Alli.
No.
No.
Not after his recent antics either.
No. But I just think his performance has dipped a lot. He's picked back up again a little bit for Spurs.
He's too unreliable.
Again, it's inconsistency. Totally agree.
You need reliable players who are going to do the job and do it well. You don't want to be there with saying, oh, Dele Alli's having a bad game again. You don't want that. Yeah. You need good players who are going to do their job, because you never know what's going to happen in international games.
Yeah.
We've got better players in that position.
Yeah. So what's your opinion on Oxlade-Chamberlain then? Absolutely not.
I don't know. I think maybe to bring, just not a starting player. He's a player there if he's needed.
Yeah, I totally agree, but I do think, especially off the bench, I think he gives you... he could be a game winner. He hasn't...
Definitely.
Not in the fact of goals, even though he has got a good shot on it. I think he can really impact a game when he comes on. Whereas if I had Ross Barkley and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, we were drawing 1-1 with 10 minutes to go, I know who I'd be bringing on.
Yeah.
And it'd definitely be Oxlade-Chamberlain. I think he's definitely got something about him. And he was, again, very unlucky with a couple of injuries. Otherwise, he would be in Liverpool's team without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
So I think definitely be taking him on the bench.
That injury he got took him out of the Champions League.
It killed him off.
Yeah. I think that one probably hurt him a lot, and obviously he's out for a while.
Yeah.
And I think he was getting there to be playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So hopefully by 2021 he'd be a shout there.
Yeah, so do you want to talk about a couple of the youngsters? The main three being Mason Mount, James Maddison and Jack Grealish.
Oh.
Mason Mount, definitely.
I'd be taking him, but again, is he in my starting 11?
I don't think... I'm not... I think maybe a 70th minute substitution, or...
I prefer him to... Winks.
Yeah.
I just think he's a better all-round player and he's less lightweight than what Winks is.
Yeah.
So I'd be taking him over Winks. But again, he'd be on my fringe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
For me,
Jack Grealish versus James Maddison.
We'll talk about Maddison. He's just a B-Tech version of Jack Grealish. End of story.
I think James Maddison has what it takes. I think he could become a very reliable player. He has the skill. He doesn't dive, for one. He's not always on the floor. He's not always on the floor like Jack Grealish. I think James Maddison is the one to bring.
But James Maddison doesn't have three players around him at all times like Grealish does. Yeah. Grealish is the only player in that Villa team. Man. Yeah.
And I think
whereas Leicester have got a few.
With the whole diving thing, if you get hit, it's not diving. You should see some of the
falling over softly then. Falling over softly.
It's not. It's winning free kicks. But I think Grealish personally is the only out of the three, the only player that will go in my starting lineup. I think he plays between the lines, and he's a bit of magic. And I'm not saying that as a Villa fan. I'm saying that as a football fan.
I just think he's too arrogant, and I don't like arrogance in a team.
And Maddison isn't.
He's not as arrogant. Everything needs to be about Grealish. I'm not a fan.
I've got quite a strong opinion on this as well because, well, a lot of people don't know, but when he was like 17, 18, he came on loan to Notts County from Villa, and in my opinion, that's where he started his career. Even though people didn't know of it, he was playing in League 2 at the time, and he was ripping the league apart week in, week out at 17 years old. And as soon as he finished at Notts County, he started getting starts for Villa, even though that was in the Championship. Yeah. And I think we should be basing this England team around players like him because he is the next big thing for England. The only thing is I look at it from a neutral perspective, and it is a toss-up between the two because he has had a lot less experience, especially in the Prem.
Can I say that, obviously, Grealish, more goals, more assists.
Yeah.
When Villa have played Leicester, and obviously everyone's doing the comparison between the two, Grealish has been head and shoulders above Maddison. I think Maddison is a good player, but he's just not.
I think Grealish is a good player. I'm just not sure he's an England player. I'm just not sure he has the ability to become an international player. I'm not sure he is too arrogant. He is too, look at his antics the other day. Like, we're all in lockdown and he goes out to a party and then drives home drunk. That is not an England player that you want.
That is.
It's not an
Maddison
England. It's
got
just
caught at a nightclub, at a casino, after saying that he couldn't play for England because he was ill. Both of them aren't exactly role
both of them need to. I think if either of them want to be in the team, they need to both sort their heads out. They can't be doing things like that because they are also supposed to be role models, and they're not being that by going out and doing stuff.
I prefer. I know you're trying to be neutral, but I would take Grealish over. I'd take them both, but I think for my starting lineup, if any of them was going to get in it, it'd be Grealish. But I think it's hard because they play in two very different teams. You look at Grealish and you think he's a standout player week in, week out with it in a very, very bad team. But some people might say they make him look good, but my opinion is that he's carrying the team, which I think is a difficult thing to do. But then you look at it from Maddison's perspective, he's played with a lot better players.
Yeah.
So, and he looks decent with and amongst them all. But are they lifting his performance up? It's hard to tell because they play in two very different teams, but I will be...
Grealish would get it into most teams, if not all teams in the Premier League.
Fair shout.
Yeah, I can't think of a team that he probably couldn't do a job in or wouldn't play in.
A lot of the top six must look at him. They must be looking at him.
He's definitely got a massive price tag on his head for this year.
Definitely. Definitely.
But then, obviously, people give him this stigma of diving. He's got this, obviously you were saying he was arrogant. Is that because he wears shorts, the shin pads, the small shin pads? It's just the way he is. I think, personally, I think he's a maverick. He's a Paul Gascoigne
He's always been like that though. At 17 years old, he didn't wear shin pads. Like it's not. This is the Prem hasn't changed him as well, because that was one thing I was looking at, because I've always kept my eye on Grealish, because obviously I followed him from Notts because he was so good, and I was watching him obviously in the Championship, and he was ripping that apart week in, week out, and I was having an argument with my family because we all kept an eye out on him, because obviously we've seen him play. And we was all having a debate of whether he was going to do it in the Prem and whether he could perform in the Prem. And he's proven himself to do it. He has stepped up to the mark.
I think the captain's armband at Villa has matured him a lot. I think it's given him an extra dimension to his game.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's been stupid in the past, but then Paul Gascoigne was England's best player and he was an alcoholic. So I've written an article about that, so obviously...
Yeah, we can just read upon that, can't we?
Just saying, cheeky little plug. But I think you've got to take him. He's a match winner for me.
I'd be taking him.
Just look at him. Yeah, he'd be definitely going.
Yeah, 100. I think 100% going, but it just depends on whether he sorts his attitude out.
I think it really does depend on formation as well. Do you want solid players like your Hendersons and stuff out there, and with Grealish to come on, or do you want to start him and bring him on off a fresh flag?
It just depends on what
between
you need.
My starting 11 and my bench. I just don't know where he quite fits into it. But I definitely be there.
I can say that they won't play in the same team together.
No, they definitely will not.
Grealish, no. Don't work.
It's like the old Gerrard Lampard thing.
Yeah.
They're not playing together. They just can't. It's not going to work like that.
They're too similar. There's no point having two of the same player on the pitch.
No.
Exactly. I think for me it would be Grealish, but obviously, is there any other names of people out there that you think would make it to England? We've mentioned quite a few already.
Definitely not Lingard.
No, definitely not.
Get over it. No chance.
No, definitely not Lingard.
But I think the England team is becoming a bit predictable with Southgate. I think, like we said before, he takes his favourites. He doesn't really change it up. But because they've postponed it a year,
I think
he might give it a shake.
Yeah, because now he has the whole of next season to watch it. He'll have had this season. He'll have had his squad ready, and I think it is up to everyone else now to try and prove to him why they should be in that squad to replace someone else.
Yeah, they've all got another season to prove themselves. Well, obviously, we don't know whether we'll finish this season off or what's happening. But looking at when the Euros are going to be played, we should have at least a full season for all of these players to show that they want to be in the team, they want to step up to the mark. But it also adds a year onto everyone. So it adds a year of experience, but it also adds a year of age. So the older ones, his favourites, are now getting older, and they're going to be too tired to carry us in the Euros.
Yeah, right.
And like I say, obviously with the World Cup as well, pretty much straight after it.
So starting on the strikers and wingers, we'll start with Jadon Sancho and Raheem Sterling.
No doubt about it. Starting 11.
100%.
We haven't really got a choice.
100%.
The formation is going to be like that. We haven't got any other wingers that could even possibly take a place.
No, definitely not.
I think they're probably the two best.
Yeah. They're always on form. They're always playing amazing. Even if Sancho is in Dortmund and you can't see him against all the other players, you know that he's going to do a good job.
Yeah.
I just think at the minute Sterling's form is dropping a bit, but he's now got this break.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of a blessing for him, because I think he was starting to drop out of form a little bit just because we're so used to him being so good every week. Yeah. He was getting a bit lost, but I think this break might really do him some good.
Even with him losing form, you know what form he can be in.
Oh yeah.
So definitely. You know how good he can be, so it's fine.
And I think that's always going to be our starting formation. But what I quite like is that if we are going to change it, like half time or during the second half, you've got to change formation, because that is the only way we can have a formation that Southgate wants to play to start with is with the two wingers. But if he's making a substitution, we don't really have anyone to change that. So I like the fact that we should be changing formation during a game if it's not going well. Because the only person that I'd maybe put on the wing if we needed to is Oxlade-Chamberlain, but he's nowhere near them two, and I'd rather have him in the middle. He's going to play for England.
Even if Sterling was out of form, like he has been recently, he'll be playing for England. He will be on that starting lineup.
Even in his bad form, he's still in. Yeah.
He'll be playing. Obviously, Sancho's doing really well. Another article that I found. We'll have to just go on the website, have a look at that. That's about Sancho, Sterling, and one extra who we'll talk about in a minute. But I think them two.
More information.
100%.
Yeah. I think obviously Sancho again, we're talking about youngsters and we're talking about the two big competitions we've got coming up in a short space of time with the Euros and the World Cup. We need players that are a bit younger to get the experience to then have them both in their bag and that they should be playing them both. And I think Sancho gives you that because if he has a good Euros, he'll be there in the World Cup with no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I think he's England's next big talent with the exception of Grealish.
Oh, Grealish, of course.
Okay, so we're definitely agreed on them. So should we go on to this is the big one now, the centre forward position, the striker. Obviously you can go with multiple strikers if you want, but for me I'm going with one. That is Marcus Rashford. I think he's the best out of our options.
I'm not sure.
I think I'd definitely bring him, 100%.
Oh, 100%.
He's definitely up there, but I also think there are going to be players who are going to be coming up to his level, which are the players like Tammy Abraham.
Yeah. Obviously, as a Villa fan, Tammy Abraham was 26 goals last season in the Championship, basically. 26, 27 goals in the Championship. Basically helped us a lot. I think he's a class player. He's 6 foot something, or like he's 6'5" I think. He's massive. He will get headers. He's like in the box. He'll get goals. But I don't know if he's like hitting the heights. Obviously, Rashford. He's only 22 years old, born in '97. So he's already had 100 for England. He scored 13 goals throughout under 21s in England. He's played 38 times for England now. He's experienced, he's young, he's everything we're looking for. Obviously, Kane's been out of the picture this season. Otherwise, obviously, if it's Southgate picking the team, Kane's there 100%.
I just don't think Kane just wouldn't be in my team. Kane just wouldn't. I think he's too. I've never forgiven him for not passing the ball. Never forgiven him for that. But I just don't think he is too selfish. He would do anything for that goal, and that is not the player you want in the team.
If we're talking about being selfish, I think you've got to bring Sterling and Rashford into the picture of that. I think all three of them are ridiculously green in front of goal, and they need to start learning to pass it even though players might not convert the shot, but if someone's in a better position than what you are, you should be passing it to them.
Yeah. And that's the player you want.
Yourself.
You want the player who is there for the team, not there for themselves.
I think all three of them are very greedy.
Yeah, all strikers are greedy. It's like inherent. All the strikers I've played with. I know it sounds mad. I swear it from myself. You have to be greedy. Like, you know what I mean?
But there's some situations where they need to stop shooting from ridiculous angles. They're not that good.
Yeah.
And there's players that, like I say, they might not have a better shot average, but if they're in a better position, then you should be passing it to them. I think Kane, definitely is going to get taken, and I think Kane, I'm not keen on him personally.
No, I'm not.
And looking at it from him a neutral, he's going to score you penalties.
He is.
Definitely. Pretty much. Almost certainly.
Where Rashford isn't a guarantee on that.
That's what I mean. And he's always there. Kane can have a dreadful game, or what I think is a dreadful game,
and still
shoots
score.
Everywhere, doesn't even look like scoring all game, and yet he's there and he'll nick you a goal.
Yeah.
They won't ever be fantastic.
But
do you know
he'll
what I mean?
have it. He'll have it.
Yeah, it's that one against Tunisia last minute in the World Cup.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it wasn't vintage, but it got us the win.
He's always on the end of it.
Yeah.
Even if he's had a bad game, he's in the position. And
yeah,
I think it's a really sticky one for forwards again. I mean, I'm looking at the list of who Southgate took for the qualifiers. And he's got Kane in there, Lingard, who you'd absolutely rule out now. Rashford, Sancho, obviously you'd be putting him and Sterling on the wing. And he also took Callum Wilson, which I don't think is a bad shout for a squad player because it's a hard one because you're comparing him to Kane and Rashford, which I don't think you can do.
Yeah.
No, they're all different players.
Something completely different for when Rashford
I
and
don't
Kane
think he's
don't
at
work.
the same. I just don't think he's at the same level as they are. I think you'd be taking Calvert-Lewin, possibly young player. You've got Vardy. I know he's retired from international football, but if he's still going like he's going, I know he's not on a bit.
Definitely in with the shout.
Yeah, definitely.
I think at the minute it's the same with Callum Wilson. They've got something about them, but they are kind of on the fringe of the team in Danny Ings. He's been quality this season. He's got his goals ramped right back up.
Yeah.
And I think he was unlucky at Liverpool as well a couple of years ago. I don't think he was given his break. But like I say, he'd be on the fringe of my squad. He'd be nowhere near my starting 11.
No, but he'd definitely be in it.
If you're winning a group game 4-0, they're the kind of players you bring on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So for the main sort of starting lineup, we're talking it would be Rashford, Abraham, Kane. Obviously, I think who we all going for in that.
I've gone for 2 up front, and as much as I'm not the biggest fan of Kane, I'm kind of more looking at formation and more looking at including experience as well, because I like you youngsters as well. I like to more what's his name? It's gone out of my head.
Abrahams.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
I think it's Tammy. That's
why
the T came to my head. No, the T came to my head and I was like, which one? No, Tammy Abraham, I do like him, but it's just, I haven't seen enough to put him in my starting 11, and I've gone old school and gone Kane and Rashford because you've got your young lads in there. But I think, as much as I'm not Kane's biggest fan, he's always going to do you a job, even if you don't play well. He's going to end up getting an assist or end up getting a goal, or he's going to take your penalty, and I think he's just 100%.
So, starting 11s. Chloe, what would your starting 11 be?
So, going from goalkeeper, I've got Henderson in there. Obviously, we discussed in either previous podcasts the reasons why. So I'll just quickly whiz over mine. But I've got Henderson in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Gomez, Maguire and Chilwell as my back 4. Just in front of them is a CDM. I've got Henderson. And then across your midfield, Sancho, Grealish and Sterling. And with Kane and Rashford up front. And then definitely on my bench, which is, I've only talking about him once, and I think it's a very strange opinion, but I'd be taking James Milner because
I'd be taking him.
Absolute goat of the Premier League, and he's in my team whether he's 80 years old or whether he's 30.
You could probably play him
he's sitting solidly on my bench because that bloke can play anywhere across that back 4, even at centre half if you need him to do you and put him there if we really needed to. But he's cover for midfield and defence. And the bloke is unreal. So it'd be sat perfectly, nicely perched on my bench, ready to come on if we have an injury.
So my starting 11 is basically the exact same as yours, except I would change Grealish for Maddison, and I would be swapping Kane for Abraham. But other than that, my starting 11 is the exact same. What about you, Tom?
Fair enough.
So I've gone with a 4-2-3-1, and I've gone with Henderson in goal, Chilwell, Mings, Gomez, and Wan-Bissaka. And then this is a very young team. I've gone with Winks and Rice, who I'm banking on having a good season this year, next year, sorry. And then I've gone with Sancho, Grealish and Sterling as the three behind. I've gone with Rashford, but obviously Abraham's to possibly take that, to be honest.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion.
I think a lot of our teams could, obviously, you've got to look at injury at the time. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
And that could change formation, maybe, depending who's got injured.
Yeah.
And then who has a good season. So I think all of us could change our teams, obviously, within the next year. But we've got to go on what we've seen so far, what we think the formation would be, and who we take now. So
yeah, I'd like to see how much our teams change this time next year going into the tournament.
Definitely.
Obviously, we still have a couple of weeks of Premier League season left.
Yeah. Obviously, we think our choices are quite different to what Southgate's is as well, which is interesting. We've got a couple of players in there that are definite of what he'll take, but we've dropped the likes of Pickford, which is quite controversial in the kind of team that he'd pick, and maybe even Trent or Trippier. So we have gone for a bit of a different opinion.
Because Gareth Southgate would go Pickford, then he'd go Chilwell, Stones and Maguire, and then Trent,
Trippier probably,
Henderson, Barkley, Kane would definitely be playing, Sterling, Sancho, and then
Rashford,
probably Maddison, something like that.
Yeah,
thrown in there. No Grealish.
Maybe a bit of Mount.
In my opinion, it's correct.
He seems to like Winks and Mount more than Maddison and Grealish, which is for me a strange opinion.
I think that's a strange one.
Maddison and Grealish over Winks and Mount.
I think that's a rather conservative opinion. So concede less goals. But I think the team I personally think would be a joy to watch.
I think we do need to shake it up a little bit as well, because everyone talking about our last World Cup and how good we are. This is for a topic for a different podcast, because it's too deep a topic. Just to push over it, I think we need a mix up of the last World Cup, because in my opinion, especially with the teams we faced, we should have got further than we did. Even though we had a good World Cup, I think we should have been pushing for that final, and I think we need to shake it up a little bit with the youngsters and then see how we go with that.
Right, so that's next time's topics. For this one, anyone else got anything else to say?
I think that's everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's keeping up.
I've been pretty quiet.
So that's keeping up with the Lions, and thank you for listening to our podcast.